The keynote speaker for this session is an award-winning Nigerian actress, singer, and activist. She was honored by Time magazine as one of 100 most influential people in the world. Please welcome Omotola Jalade-Ekeinde.
Social responsibility means making sure that people's quality of life and their human rights are not compromised to accomplish expectations and demands. For instance, purchasing goods and food that have traded fairly and manufactured in good conditions. We all know what that means. So in other words, with this definition, their own definition of social responsibility is that in every, for example, organization, that the human rights of perhaps the workers and even the consumers are put into consideration. Therefore, that the workers are not put in a position where they are working in inhuman, for example, situations. And that even we, for example, the consumers, have a right that whatever we are consuming is getting to us under fair conditions. Another definition is, social responsibility is an ethical theory that an entity, be it an organization, an individual, or a group of persons, have an obligation to act to benefit the society at large. Social responsibility is a duty every individual or organization has to perform so as to maintain a balance between the economy and the ecosystem. Now the question is, what is an obligation? If we understand that, it's our obligation to the society, it's an ethical obligation to the society that we as individuals or companies or group of persons have to oblige ourselves to. So what is obligation? What does obligation really mean? An obligation is an act or a course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound, a duty or a commitment. So what this is actually telling us is that it is actually a duty for each and every one of us, organizations, individuals. When I say individuals now, I'm talking about, whether you're in the entertainment industry or not, if you're just a common person. So why do we keep blaming government? Why do we always say that, there are some people who are responsible only for the society? This is saying that we all as individuals have a responsibility, a duty to the society. That is our first social responsibility. It goes ahead to say, I will personally love to address the social responsibility on many levels, but because of time and constraint, I would most likely address the entertainment industry. Also because this is a Nigerian entertainment conference, I'm not addressing countries per se. I would like to start from home, like they say, charity begins at home, and I would draw out from there to the entire country or society, as the case might be. It says here that in a rapidly changing world, one that sees many typhoons, earthquakes, wars, different presidents and tenors, one thing has not changed: celeb worship. Many leaders have been in power, and many of them have left power. In the space of time that many entertainers have still remained in the limelight. What does this mean theoretically then? The people know you more. The people know me more than they know most of their leaders, because we have been in the limelight more than they have been. Perhaps they love you more. And perhaps they trust you more. How then have we reciprocated their love? How really can we help ourselves, the world that we live in today, and the world that we hope to leave for our children, with the privileged, rare gift and opportunity that we have been gifted with, that we possess? I have put this in different categories. I will try and quickly run through them. I said number one, the unstoppable. Who are the unstoppable? I have often referred to Nigerians as the black Jews. And I know that a lot of my friends have laughed at me when I say this. Think about it for a moment. Is there anywhere you would not find Nigerians? Is there anywhere Nigerians cannot succeed? Is there anywhere we cannot find Nigerians? Is there anywhere Nigerians have been found not to succeed? Are Nigerians not one of the most intelligent, industrious, and just get on with it, creative minds, and very, very happy minds, as we all know? We have been actually described as some of the most happy people on earth, if not the most happy people on earth. We seem to be unstoppable when we choose to. So surely, I believe that these must be God's own people. But we all know that we do not live right now like God's own people. So what are our obligations to our immediate community? How can we get this country to be somewhat like God's own country? What do we need to do? I term here that we need to form bigger bonds and societies. Every serious group or persons have societies, clubs, associations, whatever you want to name it. Why? Because all intelligent people know their power lies in numbers and unity in purpose. This is why every person that wants to take away your rights and power causes division. They divide and rule. They target the selfish ones amongst us, the greedy ones, and approach them with gifts, enticements, money that make them speak out from the group, against the group. It starts with deceit. Then a decision, and division, and finally disgrace. Disgrace is actually the act of falling from grace, or loss of reputation, respect, especially as the result of a dishonorable act. You have seen this, many times in Hollywood movies, so I'm sure all of you have an idea what I'm talking about. It is the same deception that started in the time of Adam and Eve. That's the same deception that we had in slavery. We all know the story of how the white men came and then told our chiefs and our kings in time of old, that they could do this, they could do that. Whatever their own intentions were, our chiefs either knew or did not know. But then what did they bring? They brought gifts with them. They brought mirrors. They brought combs. They brought perfumes. Whatever. So that was the exchange for their right. And whether you want to translate that as human movements, whatever you want to translate it as, the most important thing is that it was an exchange of your will. It was an exchange of their right. It was an exchange of their free will, their ability. They knew that they couldn't take it by force. So slavery was never a forceful thing. And that's one of the things I've always wanted to change. A lot of people say, slavery was very forceful. They came here and they took people away. I said it was never forceful. It was a willing act to exchange. And what did we exchange? We exchanged our right for their gifts. In simple terms, that was exactly what happened. And selfishness. Then we can begin, if we did away with any of all these things, the greed, the love of gifts, against what we choose and what we know that is ours, then we can begin to tap into our own full potentials, because then we lack fear or favor. This is one of the most effective forms of social responsibility. The ability to gather and have a common purpose and voice. And in doing this, we need to stick together on basic minimums. Now I want to specifically talk about the entertainment industry. I know there might be other industries here. I said earlier that I'm starting from the entertainment industry, or should I say I'm using the entertainment industry as my example. So We need to stick together on basic minimums. This affects our immediate community. The entertainment industry, where there is no law, there is no order. We should know this as entertainers. We should not only be organized, we should be disciplined. We all have days when we are not the richest. You know what I mean? When everyone thinks you have so much, but then even you know you could do with some kind of handouts, you know. But everyone goes through these situations, and we all know in our hearts, but there is also dignity in poverty. Or should I say here, but even in poverty, there is dignity. Therefore, I think as entertainers, we should have basic minimum standards that we must adhere to, where penalties are also taken seriously for offenders, in receiving payments and conditions of service rendered. When I say this, I was very careful not to just talk about payments, because then like you all know, everyone has different standards. And then it's very easy to, I've said this some time ago in our own Nollywood, conference, and people said, it's very hard to say this because then generally in life, we all earn differently. We are all on different levels. So what you might not need, somebody else needs it. And I said, I am not asking everyone to be on the same level. I'm not saying we should all achieve or earn the same thing. But I'm saying that there should be basic minimums. It is a way also of telling that person, even when they want something, that they deserve more. It is a way of not letting them go below their own human capacity and not allow someone else to dehumanize them. And so, when we have these rules, even guiding them, though sometimes they want to take less, but because there is a guideline or there is a rule stopping them from taking less, then they can push for more. They can aspire for more. And this can also guide the entertainment industry and the society at large eventually. Therefore, in receiving payments, conditions of service rendered, and like I said here, life in general. When I mean life in general, I mean the society at large. As a human being, at what point in life do you really say enough is enough? At what point do you say, I deserve to be treated as a human being? Even when you don't have enough with you to make you look like a human being. What I mean is this: does a beggar, just because he has nothing on the street, deserve for you to splash water on him? If you splashed water on Obasanjo or whoever, courtesy would demand that you will stop and say, oh, sorry. But how many of us have ever splashed water on a nobody and felt like they deserved for us to say sorry? So I'm talking about not just payments, but human behavior, test of character. How do we actually think that we should treat one another? What is the basic minimum treatment for a human being? What is a human life worth? What is the worth of a human life? What is the worth of a Nigerian life? How can we begin to phantom as entertainers if we do not start from ourselves to build minimum standards, how the society actually needs to be treated? How do we begin to phantom and to understand what the society actually deserves if technically, individually, we do not even know in the industry what we deserve? How do we begin then to impose as a society and as a larger group what we deserve? Education. I said here, so Lupita Nyong'o won the Oscar for the Best Supporting Actress. And now, must we all go to school to be successful entertainers? Actually, no. So what's all the fuss about? There are many actors and many musicians who have won Oscars and the Grammys who never went to school. Yes, but they might never boast of the same amount of opportunities and in-depth knowledge as those who went to school. Is it then compulsory for success in entertainment to be educated? No, but it is advisable. And there are many layers to being famous or being a celebrity, And education prepares us for these different layers. So we can reach our full potential and be trusted with more responsibilities. Social responsibility, as you can guess, or as you well know, is a lot of responsibility and expression. You might at some points be required to speak in different types of group and to different groups of people, as I am doing right now. And sometimes you will be questioned. Simply put, talent is never enough. Election. Election is coming, and I guess a lot of people already have plans. Just a few days ago, an angry colleague of mine sent me a write-up somewhere on the blogs about how it was insinuated that entertainers have aided politicians in perpetrating evils. It is a totally purposeful write-up. Unfortunately, it was poorly executed. So before I go further, let me point out here that I, Omotola, have never campaigned, hobnobbed, or partied with any government. I stand here today to say that very clearly without fear, and I'm sure people can check and do their research. So I would really appreciate it for no one to call my name in such public speaking from henceforth, because I do suffer by not collecting monies. Ghana must go to stand on that part. And so if I have suffered that, please don't suffer me again by joining me to the group. Thank you very much. Having said this, I agree with this message that the writer was hoping to pass. But do I think that governments should not be supported? No, I do not think this. I have actually volunteered with no reward to help in the campaign of a candidate that I believed strongly some time ago. However, I believe that as intelligent people, and we are, we know even before campaigners start their campaigns, who the people that are likely to be good leaders. We know who the good candidates are. I've often heard musicians say, I'm just there to entertain. I'm just doing my job. I was paid to do this. Note that this is the same as you retweeting a message. You will definitely have a very hard time convincing everyone that you do not agree with this message. We know most times that the pulse of the people, and our conscience bear us witness that this person or group of persons, as the case might be, are not only out there for themselves, but they're out there to destroy us. They break rules. They are not dynamic in any way, nor do they intend to be. And so, as young people and people of great integrity that I want to call us to be entertainers, I wonder why we so desperately love to align ourselves with them. Why do we sell ourselves and our identity to align with such individuals? We must remember that this is our first social responsibility as entertainers. It is our ethical obligation that we reinvest the goodwill that we have so wonderfully gathered for the good of the society that we trade in. Although we all have our prerogative, I'm choosing my words. I will re-edit that in my mind. I wrote that some time ago, but I already did that. Although we all have our prerogative to align with whoever we want to align with, or whichever candidates we choose to be friends with. It is expedient to remember that as celebrities, it will be more effective if you were non-partisan. Except you want to join a party, then at least you should let us all know that you are part of this party, so you will not be persecuted for this, which of course you have a right to. You can be friends if you want to be with a member of a political party We should then be clear. You can be friends if you choose with corrupt and untrusted elements without aligning your brand with whatever they stand for. Remember, your brand will outlive theirs. So you need to be careful what you plant with your brand. Destiny is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. Posterity will remember and judge you, so choose wisely. Finally, I wrote about leadership. Leadership by example and using our influences right. Who are the real leaders? We are. Every young person in this country, every entertainer in this country, we are the true leaders. We have been sleeping giants for too long. Let's wake up and lead truly by example. In a continent with some of the strongest, most recognized, and loved entertainers, we can change things. We can change history. Let's use our influence right with this generation as entertainers, if we choose. So when that question arises again, why should we care? Are we a generation that are socially responsible? Let the answer be, yes, we do. Yes, we truly do. Thank you.